Easy way, let's go. Come on, squeeze. Squeeze the bar. Come on. I don't think you have another count. Broken. That was a good set.
How's it going, guys? So this was my max out week for squats, and also kind of did some heavy work. Backed off the volume though on bench press and deadlift. So I do like to use my taper weeks. You know, I taper the volume every four to 8 weeks usually. And I like to use that to try to hit some pretty big milestones on like squat and bench press if I have the spotter. So this was Monday, my first training session of the week. And I was kind of going in with something around the 380 to 390 mark in mind. And this was a 335, which was pretty quick. So I played it semi-conservatively. This is still a 10-pound PR for me with a 380. And this was really good. I was really happy with this, especially during the lift. I felt like I was really disciplined. I was confident going in. And I hit it with relative ease, at least for a 1-rep max. It didn't look too grindy. And I actually went for a 390 afterwards. So again, I was really happy with that, how I stayed disciplined. I didn't do anything funky when it got a little bit grindy. And I was actually kind of surprised that I didn't hit this, considering how relatively easy, like I said, that 380 was. But for some reason, I just really didn't try to grind through this rep. Looking back at it, I probably had a better shot of hitting this on Monday than I did on Wednesday. I just really didn't try to fight it. I just got stuck a little bit out of the hole. Instead of just grinding through it, it kind of just stopped. You know, it could have been a result of being a little tired from the 380. But nonetheless, Monday was a success, hitting that 10-pound PR. And then coming back on Wednesday, which I would typically do front squats, wanted to try to hit another heavy single, work my way up to 1-rep max. So again, knowing that I was pretty close to that 390, I was wanting something around that ballpark. Again, that was a 335 warm-up set there, and I definitely thought I had 390 in me. So this was the second attempt of the week at 390, and again, things just didn't go as planned. I definitely tried to grind this one out a lot more than I did on Monday, but I just wasn't as confident going into this lift. My negative was a little too slow. I don't even think I got proper depth there, so wasn't an awesome lift. It wasn't really an awesome attempt on Wednesday, so that was my last kind of max out. But nonetheless, I'm really happy with a 10-pound PR on my back squat for this little test out week. And then this was just some kind of back off work. This was like 315 versus of like 5 or 6. So again, one of the really cool things about lifting pretty heavy, at least hitting some heavy triples once a week, is that the weights that used to feel really, really heavy when I wasn't squatting like that don't really feel that heavy anymore. Like 315 doesn't really feel incredibly challenging, especially when I have something like 380 or 390 on my back. It really does help me with my more hypertrophy type style of training. And this had to have been Friday here, so I was going to this was Wednesday again. This was after my 390 miss, the second time. So this is one of my friends, Matt, here. We were helping him out on his deadlifts. So this was kind of like my max effort deadlift day. I was going to try to pull a heavy single. We were just kind of doing some other work. Both him, Matt, and my roommate, Jared, are baseball players, and they began running one of Eric Bressy's strength training programs during their off season. So they kind of wanted some tips on how to pull. So I just kind of helped them out when I was pulling on this day. And both these dudes are pretty strong. Matt pulled a 385 with pretty horrible form. I told him he has potential to pull a lot more. He pulled a 385, and then my roommate actually pulled 405 for a double a few weeks ago, but his form was it was horrible. He yanked the bar off the ground, so he has a lot of work to do on his form as far as like pulling the slack out of the bar. And that's kind of one of the hardest things for people to work on, is pulling the slack out of the bar and understanding like their positioning and whatnot. But both these guys have great potential to make strength gains, and if I teach a little bit more, they'll probably be stronger than me pretty soon. So I'll have probably some more footage randomly of them if we train together. And this coming up here is my 385 pull. So you know, I really thought I had this in me, and right off the ground, I kind of had no speed. I was actually pretty surprised when I pulled that, because normally on a conventional, you're pretty fast off the ground, and then it's hard to lock it out from like the knee to the hip. But that felt really good to me. Again, pulling conventional has been a struggle for my mobility and just not being used to it, but strength gains have been awesome, especially since I started pulling twice a week the past few weeks. I'm going to continue that with my new cycle that I'm running, like a 5-day split. So all in all, really happy with that 15-pound PR. It kind of was a back burner to the squat during this training cycle, how it normally is for me, but nonetheless, got to be happy with that. And this was Friday. I really mentally wasn't prepared to max out again this week, and my lower back was a little sore just from, you know, missing a few times and also maxing out on deadlifts on Wednesday. So what I did was just kind of some lighter stuff. I actually messed around with some high bar. I pretty much just hit like sets of 5 until I felt it was pretty challenging. I think I worked my way up to like 295. But again, just kind of wanted to do some semi-active recovery type of stuff, but actually get some work in as well. And some things I noticed from high bar, it feels really foreign now that I've been doing a little bit lower bar. And again, this was like really high bar, just because I really didn't know where to put it anymore. But I noticed my depth was a lot better, but I think my depth's adequate with lower bar as well. So again, I don't find myself going back to high bar anytime soon, but it was just kind of some fun stuff to mess around with. And this was yesterday, probably, you know, I did set PRs on squat and deadlift this week, but this was another great training session for me. I didn't attempt a 1 rep max, but I did hit some really heavy triples, and I'd actually never hit 240 for a triple before, and I hit it for 3 sets of 3. So I finished this week off great. My bench press frequency will be backing off a little bit to only twice a week. I'll probably share with you guys my whole split next week after I at least run one week of it. And yeah, the spotter here, his name's Courtney. I think he pulled like 4 plates and some change for like 10 reps today. So it's pretty cool to have some strong guys in the gym on this day. And yeah, that's the video for this week, guys. So again, kind of the cliffs would be a 5-pound bench PR for triples, 10-pound squat PR, 1 rep max, and also 15-pound 1 rep max PR on deadlift. So phenomenal week of training for me. Again, I'll be switching to a 5-day split, which I'll share with you guys next week. Really similar to this, though, with DUP kind of waves. And yeah, that's it, guys. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Go check out the Facebook page as well. Give me a like if you like the video, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
I don't think you have another pound. Broken. That was a good set.